Hello everybody, it's Raven and I am here with Mr. Saber himself.
What's up, everybody?
And we're checking out his Ship A Day lineup. It was a speed build, one speed build a day for 7 days competition that I did. And my ships may or may not already be out, but they'll be out very shortly after or right before Sabers. I don't know exactly when. Deal with it. I'm such a nice guy, right?
And take that.
Take that, establishment. But yeah, so we're gonna let me do a quick flyby here. So we got what? 1, 2. There's the third one, and the fourth one, and the fifth one, and the sixth one, and the seventh one. So he actually managed to complete the whole thing.
Yep.
A lot of people did maybe like 5 out of the 7. I've noticed. It seems to be the average. Of the people that actually did it, they either did 1 or 5. Like that. That's just what I've noticed. I don't know that I've seen a whole bunch of people doing 7.
Yeah. Well, I did actually do them a little bit in a different order because I was a little behind, and so the one I struggled the most with was actually the turret ship because I'm not a big like turret kind of guy, and so then I came up with the asymmetrical design first, and so I built that, which is the 7th ship, and then I did the Goro. Is that what I did the Goro, which is the 4 turret ship just after that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was more of an exercise in let's play to people's weaknesses and to their strengths.
Mm-hmm.
So you might get a build one day that you're like, yeah, I got this shit. This is easy. And then after that, you're like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Pretty much.
It was kind of the point, actually.
Yeah. So yeah, it definitely helped stretch me a little bit in some areas, like the turret thing mainly was the toughest one I had.
All right. So let's start with the first one.
All right, this is the Twin Lance, and this is actually going to be the fighter for the Lionheart. It's a big capital ship that I'm making, so I wanted to make a fighter for it, and so this is my, as you call it, micro fighter, which everyone else calls a normal fighter.
Actually, I think most people are calling these corvettes.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
no, it's not that big.
That's what I've heard.
That's ridiculous.
I know, that's what I said. I'm like, no, it should have enough space for a freaking cockpit. Like, that's a micro fighter, a fighter or micro fighter. And the only reason I call it a micro fighter in most cases is because most of my quote unquote 40 block limit ships are less than 40 blocks when I make them. They're usually like 35s. You know, but that's
this one just squeaks right up to 40 for the length.
Yeah, my Gola is exactly the same way. It's 39, so, and it's only because it's odd simmed. So what are you gonna do? All right, so let's see. I'm gonna start from the back.
All right.
A couple nice little actions back here.
Yeah, I did a refit kind of on it, like right at the very end, because I had like a full, like almost cylindrical armor around the engines and then the cannons, which looked really cheesy in my opinion. So I just kind of refit it, made it a little more streamlined because I liked the shape of it before I added all that extra armor. Yeah, so I just kind of reduced it down and I put the armor back in between the ridges or ribs or whatever.
All right, so the doors are at the bottom. I do know that much.
Yes.
So I'm gonna
they're in the
fly
bottom
through here in build mode because doors and you and me are not really going hand in hand right now.
Okay. I was gonna say you can go if you want, but I can't.
I'm having problems with them too, so.
Aha! I'm not the only one.
So it's not completely you. So we jump in and we've got side doors and then it goes up to a ramp and we've got a few ice crystals and it looks like we've got our core and a couple weapons computers and a gravity module. Cool.
Yep. That way you can go and sit in the captain's chair.
Come up and it almost looks like you could step on lava and die.
Yeah, there's glass there.
I know.
Just almost.
But it almost looks like it.
It's that element of danger.
Right. Makes every ship good.
Yes.
An awesome chair, I gotta say.
Thank you. Really I'm really happy with that chair design. Like I've started to reuse that particular design too.
I think
as you'll see later on.
If I mean I think they would work really well for vertical ships.
Yeah, well, the part that I think works so well with this one is because it immediately slopes off in front of that. Exactly. So you get that really like pushed back kind of feel, like it's made for high G forces.
Yeah, and at the same time, it just, I don't know, it works. I will say that. And I think for like because you have that slope there, it gives the illusion of a full vertical style ship.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's why I'm
Which,
thinking like that. If you cut off that front end bubble or something and ever built a vertical ship, stick that bubble on the front end of the vertical ship, and you are golden.
well, that's kind of the reason that I designed it like that, was because the Lionheart, my big capital ship, is almost a vertical ship and a horizontal ship at the same time, and so I wanted to keep that same kind of a cockpit design for this fighter.
Yeah, and as I've seen the Lionheart, and for those of you who haven't, look at Sabers' channel. He's got a video out about the Lionheart, maybe 2, I don't remember. But
I think I've got 2. I'm gonna be doing more pretty soon.
So check that out. You'll see the similarities, and it does look like it's a proper fighter for that ship. So that's really cool. You got some nice detailing back here. I would say I'm gonna critique you, Saber, and it's very.
How dare you? That's fine.
Your outer wings are just a little plain.
Yeah, that's somebody else had mentioned that, and I was just trying to think of how I could kind of spice that up a little
You
bit.
could always do a few of my weird design thingies on the outside, but maybe what you want to do is wait until you have the Lionheart's exterior done a little bit more in detail.
Yeah.
And then follow that detailing pattern on the outside of these.
I think that could definitely work.
Yeah, I think that'll really bring out the fighter. Because right now, it looks like... I mean, the other thing you could do is if you... Where you have the wings connect, right, in that little bit, you have the... How can I say it? You have the gap, right, in the wing. If you replace that very, very center line, the red that you have there, with like gray, and then had it coming out like it was scaffolding, like you have on the top, and that goes through the red. So it looked like it was bolted, like the wings were bolted on, and that this scaffolding was on the outside and holding it there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that could definitely work.
Again, you know, maybe put it together and see what happens, but at the same time, I'd still wait to finalize it until you have a little bit more on the Lionheart to make it match.
Yeah, definitely, and that's, you know, I've just been doing the base work on the Lionheart first, so then all the detailing will come later.
Yeah, that tends to be like, I don't know, for me, like when I get to the detailing, it's freaking refreshing.
Yeah.
For a while anyway, and then it just gets tedious. But
well, yeah, because that's usually after like all the normal wedging, and it's like, okay, finally I'm done with that.
Exactly, and then you're like, yes, something different. No more wedges that have to be there just to be there.
Yep.
All right. So this one's the Twin Lance. Awesome, I like it.
Yes, that's the Twin Lance. Thank you.
All right, let's move on to your next one, which I believe was the shuttle.
Excursion. Yeah, it's the shuttle that we were supposed to do, which I got a little carried away with.
Yeah, I'd say so. My shuttle is about half that size. Well, I can't even say that because of the way that the front end is, but still,
I believe your description was to... Oh, and excuse the yellow light in the cockpit, everybody. We were talking about this earlier, but the hanging lights now actually put out yellow light, so all of the joysticks that I have now make the cockpits really yellow.
They're information panels. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, right, because yellow is the color I'd go for a blue and white ship. Okay, so what was your description for the shuttle? Was supposed to be like, what, carry 2+ people, something like that?
It had to be, it couldn't be armed, and it had to have at least a small interior and be able to carry at a minimum 2 people, 2 to 4 people at minimum, in gravity.
Okay, well, including a pilot and co-pilot, mine will seat 95.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and there are 4 latrines in it. There's some on the top deck, and then there are some way worse ones on the bottom deck.
For the subpar people.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the economy or coach class, or whichever one is the cheaper one.
Yeah, I don't know, but I've flown it enough, I should know.
Yeah.
Usually when I fly, it's that, especially back when I was in the military, it was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, that back one sucks. Oh my god.
Yeah. It's less than a closet. Just
Remind me not to fly Saber Air.
Hey! It's great in first class. Look at those beautiful seats.
All right, well, I
And
better
you got
get first class
you
tickets
got
every
like an
time.
armrest up there. Yeah, pretty
All right,
much.
so then the door is there at the front and underneath.
Yep.
Okay.
It's about as close as I could emulate to having like an actual airliner.
Yeah,
At
it
least a
works
double decker
really
like
well.
that. Then you got the gravity as soon as you get inside of there, and then it ramps up to the different levels.
All right, let's take a look at the cockpit again. Got the
The yellow light throws it way off for color.
Yeah, but it's all right. I mean,
Yeah.
I know what colors are supposed to be there, so it makes sense, and I'm sure everybody watching can kind of guess. I mean, that's
they better.
Gray, and the rest of it's kind of gray, and then there's the blue stripe and the white.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the yellow.
And then the yellow everywhere.
Yeah, I would just turn them off, but it actually flips it like it does with wedges, so that's not really gonna work.
Yeah, schema.
Wait. You have to. I guess it doesn't really work for you, but above the seats on the top deck, there are actual luggage compartments that you can open and close.
What? Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
yes,
you need to go in there in person, because it's actually like wedged in there, so it looks like it's an opening compartment.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Let me see if I can't fly down there. Da-de-da. All right, we're gonna see if the doors are gonna be forgiving to me. Distinct possibility that they will not. Oh, hey, not too bad. Okay, so we'll go up here. Yeah, buddy. That's nice, dude.
Thank you.
Very well.
I was, as soon as I thought of that, I was like, yes, it's brilliant.
Brilliant. It shall be mine. All right.
No one else's shuttle will have these.
You know, now all of my shuttles are gonna have those, right?
That's all right.
You got it first, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. Now you're just stealing my ideas.
Well, there might be some truth to that. Alright, let's get a nice little flyby of this. Nice work on the engines and the wings.
Thanks. I'm pretty happy with that. This was one of the ones that I live streamed for the majority, like for the shell of it at least.
Yeah.
And then
nice.
and then I ended up doing the interior on my own time.
Very nice. Alright, so let's go right.
I'm hoping
here.
once I get moved, I have better internet so I can actually stream some more than what I've been doing, because it's just too unreliable for me right now.
Gotcha. Alright, let's move on to the next one.
This one's going to take a long time to look at, let me tell you what.
Oh man, it's so huge. I don't know what to do with this.
Truck. It does have an interior. It has a 1x1x2 interior with a seat.
It does. It legitimately does.
It does. I'm telling you, man. You could stand in there and then get into gravity and ride around in it.
It's beautiful.
Oh man, this is the service truck, which is actually for my race cars, or for my race track rather. Basically, it's the salvager ship. That was the salvage day, and then it's also got the power supply beams. So it's kind of just an all-around truck for helping out or picking up wreckages on the racetrack. So I can either give them some power, or I added one AMC block so that I could actually destroy the core and then salvage them.
It's either for salvaging ships or salvaging wrecks, or giving power to wrecks, or making wrecks.
Or I could actually haul ships with it though, because it's got the little docking module too. So if they're not dead and it's not abandoned, like if it's just an abandoned car, I'm just gonna end up like destroying it and then salvage it. But if it's somebody that's in it, I'll just have them dock up and then we can head back and get them repaired.
Sounds good. Nice work though. I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, that took like 5 minutes and 30 seconds to build. It was awesome.
That's always great when you get those quick builds. I mean, sometimes they're the most rewarding though.
Yeah. Yep.
They really can be. All right, let's move on to the next one.
All right, this is the Brimstone, which I just named today actually because I couldn't fit. It was just Bomber for the longest time.
Yeah, I've got one of those too.
The last four are all, or no, sorry, the last four I named all of them today because I just had Bomber and generic names. So this one has it was initially inspired by like a B-17, not necessarily in design but in function, because it has those top gunners and then the belly gunner, and then it's got two sides, which originally those were going to be waist gunners in the middle, but I decided I wanted bigger turrets for those. So once you get inside of the ship, you can actually go to where those turrets are and hop into them from the interior of the ship. So that's kind of where the B-17 idea came in. So you could have a crew, because none of them are AI'd. So you actually have to like run around your ship and hop into each one.
Or start ship AI like I do, because I cheat.
Well, yeah, that's no fun.
No, I got
Where's
you
the fun
there.
in that, Raven? And originally I had logic in mind for this one.
That's usually where the fun is.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I guess there's that too.
Yeah. That being said, I will say yours carries a what looks to be a rather devastating payload of bombs. Holy crap!
Oh, and that's where it gets even better, because okay, so there's those bombs which are obviously you just undock them and drop them, but the little vertical like chunks that are sticking out of the top and bottom are missiles, and you control those from the nose bomber, the bombardier position in the nose where it actually looks down, and so then you fire those missiles from that position. And so they'll actually fire straight down from that. Now, originally, I had built this ship with logic in mind, and what I was trying to do was I was trying to get it so that, and you can't see it with the doors right now, but on each side of those little cylinders is a set of doors on each face. And so the top block of that is a chunk of lava, and then the bottom block of that is one of the missile blocks. And so originally what I wanted to do was to rig it up in logic so that when you fire, it flashes open the top door really quick, so it looks like light from like a missile firing out of that tube, and then it would close so that way it looked like it was just a quick flash. And then when it was reloaded, I'd have the bottom block, which was the missile block, I'd have that bottom door open so it looked like it had reloaded and it was ready to fire again. But I couldn't get the logic to work right, because either it doesn't work right quite like that, or I just don't understand it well enough to do that yet.
Yeah, it doesn't work off of when you click a weapon system block. You'd have to have it off of an activation block, and well, that's completely possible. Like, I'll help you wire that up, because that's freaking awesome. But yeah, it's unfortunately it's a little bit more complicated.
Yeah.
And it'll require a workaround, at least for the moment. But I do hope that they change that so that when you can make those sorts of weapon effects, like a huge row of heat sinks opening up and having like lava below them, so that they're like glowing red after you fire a massive burst laser. Oh.
Yeah, pretty much all I need to do is add an output for weapons computers as well, so like it would give out information whenever you activate it.
Yeah, that's true.
But actually there's also the two cannons in the front, like basically all those cylinders, wherever it is on the ship is a set of missiles. So then there's also two missiles on the front of the ship, but then there's also in the little like wingy bits on the right, or the panels on the back on each side. Those, each spot of lava on those also has a missile behind it. So you're welcome to like hop in that thing and like set off all the missiles and see how many there are, but I don't remember how many it is for count, but there's a lot.
Okay, let's see, where is your... Okay, so you jump out. Please let me out. There we go. You know what? In the interest of safety, let's come up just a little bit.
Probably a good idea. But yeah, originally I was, well, when I do the video, I want to try and see if I can get this to work right alone. But I'm going to do, the plan for how this thing would attack would be you'd fly straight at your target. And so you'd set off all the missiles that you have that are forward facing. And then you'd pull up, well, no, actually you'd release the bombs that are actually docked. Ooh, and then you would pull up. Yeah.
Firing down. There's just one.
And then,
but I'm in the core.
Oh, you're in the core. Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, they fixed that then.
I guess.
Because look, in the previous build,
down,
it doesn't work.
And it worked. All right, let's try up.
Nice.
Oh no, that one was forward. Okay.
There we go.
Looks like
that's the down one.
No, that was forward.
Wait, but oh, never mind. I'm getting lag. Never mind.
Okay, the very last one I shot was forward. I'm gonna fire forward again. So there's forward, which is, that looks relatively devastating.
Yeah.
That's good. And then if we go to 1, so this should be down. And there's down. That's right. I think I might be doing a speed build later today.
Yeah, I'd really love to see this thing in action as far as like, diving straight at the target, then, releasing the bombs, then swooping up, and then letting the downward missiles just take out whatever's left.
Right, so basically it would come in and it would, on its trajectory, fire its forward-facing missiles from a little ways out.
Yep.
Then unload all of its bombs on its target, and then as it turned, you would fire the downward-facing missiles as your last thing, and then just get the fuck out.
Yep, and that's why I designed the computer down in the nose like I did, so that way somebody could be in there and it actually faces down, so you can see when the target is in position, and then you can fire from there.
Very nice.
So there's not really much guesswork there.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. All right. Let's get up here away. Da, 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 da. All right. Let's move on and back down to the next one then, the Bailey.
All right. Yep, this is the colony ship sort of thing that I called it. It was the one where you wanted to like drop off that thing on the planet.
Right.
And then it would have to have like a living quarters in there.
Right. So the plan was you needed a transport ship that could drop like a planetary lander sort of thing onto a planet that one could then live out of.
Yep.
For short excursions on a planet or long term, depending on how you wanted to mix it. Okay, well now that we're caught up, we'll start with the lander.
Okay, so the lander is basically I wanted it to make it like a just kind of a module that you would set down that would just be quite literally their living quarters. So you can access it from the ship directly actually because it's built to do that. So like you would go through the hatch of the ship, which is in the very back, and then straight in front of that is the secondary hatch, which then leads into the door of the little lander thing. So
oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, so it all leads right into that. So you can't access that from like the outside of the ship. It has to be from inside of it.
Okay.
But then inside of that, once you get inside, to the right in that little thing, which I thought I had a door there, but apparently not. There's the bathroom, which has a toilet and sink, corner sink, whatever. Okay. Then to the left is the sleeping quarters with a desk and a light, which works in this situation because it's actually turned on and it's bright.
Yeah.
So then you got 4 bunk beds in there, and then gravity on the wall, so you can actually hit it so it looks like you're laying down in the bed.
Yep. Nice.
And then moving outside of that and going back to the left down the hallway, and to the right is the kitchen with a white refrigerator and some counter space in there.
Very nice. And we have new blocks. You could probably use the medical cabinet to look like a fridge.
I could totally do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, then it's basically just the living room, which has just got a nice view to wherever you end up setting
couch
it.
And you can chill the hell out. Nice.
And who needs TV when you can just observe your new alien planet?
Go rub a couple sticks together, make fire, you know?
Yeah.
God. Those people that need technology and that newfangled internet stuff, man, horrible people. All right, so let's check out the ship before I have to put my foot in my mouth any further.
All right, so if you head back into the ship, basically it's just a stairway that leads up to what is kind of a hallway, but I turned it into a cryo chamber where it's got 6 cryo units, so that way, like, basically the only people that are going to be, well, actually no, the pilot wouldn't even have to be conscious because it's a one-man crew. So there's room for the 4 people that can live in the pod, and then 2 others. So one would be the pilot if it's a really long distance voyage, and then 1 extra just in case.
Well, I mean, you could always say if it's a long voyage, right? You have 1 cryopod for whoever's up, and they jump into the cryopod. Well, and then they wake up the person in the other one.
That's true.
And then jump into their cryopod, and then that other person takes over flying.
Yeah, that would work.
Or running everything for a while.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of just another adaptation of the like jetliner design, sort of. I mean, it's obviously not the same thing, but it's just kind of inspired in the same way, where it's transporting people, but then also their pod too, and it's pretty Spartan other than that.
It has a really neat design. I can see the jetliner sort of. I don't know what ship. I think it reminds me of PlanetSide, kind of. I don't know why.
Kind of, yeah. I named it. I don't know what reminded me of it. I think it's just the general shape, but I named it the baleen because it's actually like a. It's not a subspecies of whale. It's like the next hierarchy up from whale, because it's like the kind of whale that has to filter through like the water to get the krill and stuff like that. That's called a baleen. It's that comey
baleen
thing,
whale.
but
It's
yeah,
the designation for any whale with baleen,
yeah,
the
yeah.
giant filters that they use in place of teeth.
Yeah, because as chunky as this thing is, I was like, it kind of reminds me of a whale, and so I almost went with a oh, what's the other bee name whale? Beluga, yeah, beluga whale. I almost went with that, and then I was like, well, it almost reminds me of like a Native American's depiction of the orca whale, because like up here in the Northwest, a lot of the art shows like kind of lines on the whales like that, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go with a baleen whale.
I have one
just
of
make
those
it simple.
sitting on my desk, actually.
Nice.
My family's boat is named Majorca, Myorca, so we have tons of that travel art.
That's
we
awesome.
used to go up to Vancouver all the time, so I'm very familiar with that art style. It's beautiful.
Cool.
And actually,
I love it up here.
if you look at the designs on a lot of my ships, they are semi-inspired by that art style. Especially on some of the builds that not too many people have seen, admittedly. But I'll show you some of them later, Saber, and you might notice it.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the last two. So
All
let's
right.
get a quick flyby here. We've got the last 2 days. The 6th day was a turret ship, and the last day was asymmetrical. So let's start with the turret ship.
All right. The turret ship I named the Goro because of its 4 turret cannons, which I wanted to kind of make this thing look like it was built into one ship as much as possible.
Right.
So I kind of tried to like mold it all together. Yeah, definitely. Thanks. So yeah, I wanted basically just 4 big AMC turrets, which is what they are, and which I don't think
awesome negative space too. Like,
thank you.
I'm sorry, I just don't see it as much as I really wish I did, and I'm glad. I mean, I know you do. All right, and I realize this is gonna sound maybe patronizing, but don't take it that way. I mean, you see people reviewing ships all the time and saying, well, you should do this, you should do that, and then they don't do it themselves. But at least you're sitting there and saying, yeah, I see, I can do this shit too, and you're doing it really, really well, so that's always a plus.
Yeah, it's I don't build a lot of ships, but you know, I do like to think that I have the knowledge, and that's kind of what led me to doing the reviews. But then I realized that I don't do the builds, so I was like, you know what, I should probably do some of these just to kind of show people that I do know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and you do. So there's
and
that.
Yeah, I mean, as this build challenge has gone on, I've realized that my style is quite a bit different than, like, let's say you or Dalmont or most of the other guys on the server, because
have the
it's
same style, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. No, but like I think I go with a lot more like clean design because I don't add on as many details. Like I like to go with more of a straight hole design, sort of like where it's, you know, not ridges all over the place for some things or the extra lines and things like that. But I still try and work in the details as I can.
Yeah, I actually like what I would say is your designs are what I'd call minimalist. You keep it clean, keep the lines clean. I tend to, my builds are very noisy, I guess would be the right word.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
There's just a lot of extraneous lines and stuff, and I try to work them into actual purposes, but that doesn't always work. Sometimes they're just there to be there, but I try to make it so that there's, you know, I could at least invent a reason for that particular thing being where it is. But yours, all the details that you end up with tend to show that they have a purpose, like heat fins on the sides of the turrets.
Yep.
For instance.
Or like structural components and stuff like that, braces and stuff like that. Yeah, that's one thing I like to do when I build stuff, whether it's in this game or whatever. But like, just try and make everything kind of be logical and have it make sense.
Yep, that's why Saber World works so well.
Yeah. But yeah, inside of this one, it's literally just a cockpit with the light and then the chair, and then everything else is just systems. Yeah. Because I had to just cram this the main body full of thrusters and power and some shields, but then I try to do the same with the turrets as well. So it's all kind of like, I wanted to keep the turrets as self-reliant as possible, but obviously, you know, it's not going to be perfect because it's actually kind of a small space to work with in the interior of the turret, which I just realized I actually have spare room in there that I can throw some more stuff.
Yeah, that's usually the second pass is when you sit there and go, oh,
yeah,
I have a whole crap load of room here.
Well, it's just like 2 lines, but it's
Yeah,
like,
I know,
don't
but
6 blocks each.
yeah, but you're just sitting there
It would
going,
help.
yeah, I could improve this. And then if you go in
Yep.
and you pare down parts of it, you can even push it even further sometimes. Yeah, I like it, and of course, I mean, we were talking right before we started recording. I like the fact that you incorporated the turrets directly into the ship, so that they actually look like the proper parts of the ship.
Now only the bottom turrets would face forwards.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, okay, or if you could, well, I guess he's been working on the orientation thing for the docks, but that would be nice to have now, because then.
It's been a while.
Yeah, because that's the only thing with the bottom turret is that's what bugs me, because it's like it's off because I had to rotate it myself. But
yeah, I've got a few ships exactly the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them I don't want them to rotate around. Some of them it looks really cool with them facing the other way, but some of them it's like no, freaking face forward.
Yeah,
that's your job.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's jump to the last one here.
All right, this is the Armstrong, which I also named today. This is the most like free-handed ship I think I've ever done, because I started out with what did I start out with? I think I started out doing like the general shape of the cockpit, like just on one axis, not even like the whole way around. And then I just kind of like brought out the side, because I realized that I wanted to have like a Gatling kind of thing over here. And then like the rest of the ship, like I just went with some random curves. And then the whole plate on the side where the cockpit is, that whole armor plate, I was just like, I just want to make something kind of curvy and cool. So I just started placing blocks, and then I ended up wrapping it around the cockpit a little bit too.
It works really well. I will say, maybe this is just me, and maybe it's because of your build style. I'm not entirely sure, but the arm that connects the 2 parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, if you replace the lava with ice crystal, it would essentially be the same as the hallways that you left me when you frickin' sent that thing around on the round robin.
It would be, yeah, it'd be pretty similar. Definitely. But actually, I almost had it as ice crystal, because I was like, well, it's not an engine, so I don't want it to glow red like the back. But then I tried throwing an ice crystal, and it like reflected the light towards the back in the back wedges. So I was like, no, it's got to match the colors. So I had switched it to lava.
It looks good like that. I think that was the right choice.
Mm-hmm. I think so as well.
And we've got, all right, so
yeah, this is the most random ship I've ever done.
I gotta say,
just a hodgepodge.
I like it. Well, you know, some of those are the best. Once
yeah.
I mean,
and you should get in and fly it around a little bit, see how quickly it responds, because this thing has an insane amount of thrust. Like, because
I most certainly will here as soon as I cruise through it in build mode.
All right.
So we go in through the main door. We go straight to the cockpit. Awesome.
Yep.
Makes life
Just find the
easier.
door. Okay, good. Yeah.
Go,
wait. There's actually, if you look in the back of the cockpit on the left side, this could also be a bounty hunter ship, because it's got a little cell in there. So it's got like a double. Yeah. Go in the cockpit yourself, and then look to your left if you're facing out the front, and then tucked away back in that corner, there's a little thing to a prison cell where you could be a bounty hunter. Because it's got double doors to kind of help keep them in, if you will.
Okay, hold on. Let me you know what? I'm gonna make this easy on myself. Tab F8.
Nice.
I freaking love this command.
Yep.
All right, let's see here. And yeah, I really like this one. I think this is actually probably my favorite out of them, because it is...
Really? Nice.
Yes. I mean, I like the twin lance, and I really like the bomber.
Mm-hmm.
The turret ship has, like, I like the concept behind it. Maybe it's just a little bit too small to really put in a huge amount of detail.
Yeah, definitely. I had some trouble
maybe
with that.
Maybe it's not the size that it's small. It's small for its design. If you scaled it up by a factor of 2, like, you could probably put a lot more very interesting details on it. But I think that with the way that the turrets are, it's really awesome. Like, I freaking love it. But I just think that it's small for its detail size. But for what the whole point of the speed builds was, it's perfect.
Yeah.
But this Armstrong, I think, is probably the coolest, because it is so random, and it's a really nicely done asymmetrical ship.
Mm-hmm.
And I like well done asymmetrical ships.
And random.
Because they don't happen often.
Yeah. Yeah, the Armstrong I had I really struggled to get the systems balanced right as far as like power and then also the weapons and then the thrust after that. So originally I had it segmented, had the thrust segmented like basically in half, maybe more than that, because I just switched up so that all it took was one block to literally double the thrust. But I wanted to wait until I knew I could get enough power for it. So once I had the power right for the weapons and all that stuff, I was like, okay, now I want to see if I can make this thing as quick as I think it can be. And so I added back in that one block, doubled its thrust, and then balanced the power some more. And so it regenerates constantly when it's firing and moving around, but it still like drops a fair amount because it pulls so much power all at once. But it still regenerates instantly each time, so you never run out of power. At least as far as I know. I don't know if the shields are down, what it would do, but it took a lot to get it balanced just right, like I wanted. But I'm really happy with it.
The only two things that I'm seeing, and they're really incredibly simple things, but it's like this. All I'm gonna say is the front end looks fucking gorgeous, and I don't even say that very often, but it really looks great. But then, like, I'm looking at the back, right, and you've got like these black shelling, I guess you'd say, and then the gray
the armor plates.
Yeah. And then at the back, it's like, I understand that that's, tacked on or whatever, but I'd like to see maybe a little bit more black back here, because it's just a little bit too monochromatic for the rest of the ship.
Yeah, I do understand.
Just
I see that as well.
And the only other thing I can say is, like, with as awesome the detail as there is, like, on the ship, right? So you've got like these structural bits and everything, and then when I just look at the way that the lava from the engines, I'm like, it's just kind of plain.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm spoiled by Dalmon engines, and that's distinctly possible. But I'm sitting there going, put a grill on it, maybe.
Well, that is one thing that I like to try not to do too much, though, is like, because with engines, so many people like break them up into segments and stuff. But I'm like, with like spatial engines or like any rocket engines we have nowadays, it's just open.
Yeah.
So it's I definitely understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, I try and keep them so that usually, at least, like up with the excursion, those engines are also left open. But I mean, I think with how those are made, it's not as obvious because of just like all the cowling around them and stuff. But yeah, I definitely see where you're going with that though, with this one. And I may try and work with it. I'll definitely try and add some more black into it.
So hold on, let me.
How dare you? It's fine.
81 Honda.
It's an 81 Honda.
No, because I was just thinking something simple like this. If you look at one of the engines there, just like that, just that. That's what I need.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like just some weird pattern like that where it's negative space over it. And I think that would just be like, yep, it's all detailed now. There's nothing to change.
Yeah, done.
Done. We're done. It's over.
Yeah.
Game, set, match, Saber. But I will say it's a really nice ship. Now you said I have to fly this around a little bit. Let me Okay, so there's one camera and the Gatling gun.
Just feel its responsiveness. Yeah, I threw that over there. I was like, it's got to have one over there.
Oh shit! Did I fire at you? Yes, I did.
Sorry. I'm God moded, so you're fine.
Yes. Okay, so this is with the new weapons. Everybody remember that the AMCs actually have a cooldown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I gotcha. Because in the previous build, if you held it long enough, it would actually like start to fire each cannon at a different time. So it would be like a Gatling gun, where it's just constant. It's not like all in one wave each time.
All right. So
that's going to be different.
So we're going at a pretty good clip here. Let's see, we're going to go 0 to server max, which is 160 if I remember right. So 3, 2, 1, go. And we're at 100, 160. That's pretty good. Now I need to go back. No, go back. There we go. Woohoo! Yeah, she's pretty quick, I'll give her that. Not as fast as my Naviri.
Well, yeah, you
Naviri has
like,
a 10
I don't
to
remember
1
how
thrust
much
mass.
thrust. Yeah,
but that's beside the point.
I didn't even check what the Armstrongs is, but
it's like
I don't think it's anything close to that.
1.
Okay, yeah, I think the highest I've ever gotten was a 7 to 1, and that was with the Turtle, which was not a speedy thing. It was just a powerhouse.
Yeah, that would be like geared for torque, not geared for
exactly.
speed. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a heavy lifter.
Yeah, it's the difference between a V8 and a 4x4, and then a V8 and like a Ferrari or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Supercar.
I certainly understand 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite because this looks like it's how can I say this? I would say the Lionheart, the Brimstone. Yeah, I'd say the Lionheart, the Brimstone, and the Goro. More so, I mean, because the Baleen and the Excursion seem to go together.
Yeah,
just be honest, you know, like
well, and the Goro and the Armstrong I kind of built to go together too, because they're a very similar scheme. So it's almost like a pirate fleet, but not quite.
Yeah, because I mean, well, the way that I see it almost is like the Excursion was almost like practice for the Baleen, because like if you go from the Excursion is a passenger liner, right?
Yeah.
And it looks like a proper passenger liner, but then when you go to the Baleen, it's just a little bit higher level of detail in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, or maybe it's
I'd say the Baleen is definitely inspired by the Excursion. I wouldn't necessarily say that the Excursion is practice for it, because like I wanted to keep it really clean, like how I did the cowling on it and stuff, and keep it simple, kind of like a passenger liner is, but. Yeah. Yeah,
maybe the Baleen is a little bit busier, but in a very, very controlled way.
Yeah.
But where I would say I can see the Twin Lance going into the Brimstone. Like I can see actually I can really see the Twin Lance in the Armstrong. Those two actually, if you look, the part of the designs here look very similar, at least with the way that you did the general ribbing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of the structural elements are the same for sure.
Yeah, and that's really cool. But at the same time, the way that I see it is like this is the culmination of that entire 7-day stretch.
Yep,
and
pretty much.
It's turned out to be a really nice product. It's really cool. I like it.
Thanks, me too.
And
if anybody else doesn't, you can just stop watching. I don't even care. This is Reagan's channel. You can just unsubscribe.
No, don't do that. Okay. You asshole. In that case,
it's not my channel. What do I
care? Yeah, these are the people I call my quote-unquote friends.
Yay! I'm just kidding. You should also subscribe to him right now. If you don't do it, I'll stop making videos forever. Bum.
If you put something like that up on your channel, if you did that on your channel, oh my god, my account would blow up. Aw, you crashed.
Yeah, it's happened like 3 times.
Yeah. But I've been in Tab G, so I haven't been able to tap.
That's fine.
See, I don't care.
Yeah, well, I know the ship's well enough. I can just keep on going about it.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to do a final flyby here. But yeah, these things are freaking awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to do them.
I think, personally, you should have the Twin Lance, but I think you should have a contingent of Armstrongs in your or with your Lionheart too.
The Lionheart? Ooh, I don't know. That's a pretty different design, though. I mean, yeah, there's some similarities, but I'd say that pretty much standalone.
I think it'd work.
Okay, all right. I'll do some experimenting with it and change up the colors and
maybe it wouldn't be with like actually docked in there.
Okay, gotcha.
Or maybe you'd have like a contingent of like say you had like 8 or a squad of 4 Twin Lance and 2 Armstrongs.
Yeah, that could work.
And the Armstrongs would be your heavy fighters. Maybe a little bit of a recoloration.
I should build one that's. Actually, no, hang on. I wouldn't even do that. I was just gonna say I should build one that's the opposite. So like the turret or the Gatling gun is on the other side. But I was like, wait, you could just flip it over and it look exactly the same. So one person would just have to fly upside down.
Damn it! These new regulations coming in from HQ. I hate this. I hate my job.
Well, it's in space. You wouldn't notice. They'd just be like, "Why is everybody else upside down?"
I don't get why they're flying all weird.
Yeah.
They all must be drunk. It's not my problem.
Yeah. The Twin Lance is pretty symmetrical vertically, so I don't think you'd really notice even all that much.
You wouldn't on that one, no.
Yeah. So yeah, that could work. You could have 2 like up in the front, and then you could even do 3 up in the front, and then do like a flying V where in the back too it'd be the Armstrongs.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
Setting it off nicely with the giant freaking guns on them.
Yeah, that's kind of the beauty of it. I'm just thinking, because, you know, the Twin Lance, it looks like it's a capable fighter. But I'm just thinking, it's probably got a
doesn't have a giant Gatling gun on
it. Exactly. And giant Gatling guns. I mean, what's life without a giant Gatling gun?
Right? Then I got the thruster behind it to offset when it shoots, so all the physics is there, so nobody can complain about that. I think I had somebody trying to complain about that in one of my ship reviews. They're like, it just doesn't make any sense. Not this one particularly, but just a ship that I did. They're like, it doesn't make any sense because the physics and all that stuff. And I'm like, you can have an offset thruster. It's fine.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
Yeah, as long as it balances out, it's totally okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's see. I don't know if I'll just do that in single player because I would love to be able to have you help me out with the bomber video, because then I could have somebody, you know, bombing while I'm doing the run. But then, like,
well, maybe,
I just don't.
Maybe
I don't know if my internet can handle the planet.
Maybe what we do is here in a few days when things are running hopefully a little bit better.
Yeah.
I grab my bomber, and we do a dual
bomb off.
Bomb off.
It's like a dance off for some
pants
poor,
off, dance off.
helpless planets.
Oh, I just referenced Fuse TV.
Oh.
Today's a bad. Just
I don't know if we can be friends anymore.
I don't know how I did. It just sort of happened. Okay.
I'm scared.
Okay.
Now let's find your home base and bomb it.
I don't have one of those. For a good reason.
Yeah.
Alright, with that though, I think we need to call it to an end, simply because referencing Fuse TV has been the low point of my day.
You're done. No more.
Yep, I'm done for the day. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Saber for coming here and showing me the ships.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me and doing the challenge.
Yeah, and later on we'll check out other ships by you, I'm sure, one of these days, and I'll blow them up.
Oh yeah.
I'll
Maybe
just
not.
call them crap the whole time and everything. And but stay tuned for a possible bomber off, and we'll see what ends up happening. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and of course, as always, we will see you again next time.
Have a good one.